Don't select. Go, let's go.
Where the Los Angeles Rams are placing Cooper Kupp on IR, knocking him out for a minimum of 4 games. That is per multiple reports. Kupp is dealing with a lingering hamstring injury, suffering a setback during practice last week. The All-Pro receiver will be eligible to return during Week 5 when the Rams host the Eagles. That will be on October the 8th. As you take a look at the loss for the Rams offense, you look at the percentage of receptions. I mean, close to 30%. Percentage of receiving yards. I mean, this guy is a huge part of this Rams offense. Taking him out certainly raises a number of questions on how efficient this offense is going to be moving forward as they get set to open up the season on Sunday. Let's bring in Leger Douzable to talk about this. First of all, your reaction here, because we knew that it could head this way, but so I don't know if there's a lot of surprise here, but obviously, if you're a Rams fan, concerned.
Yeah, Jeremy, I think you're surprised when it actually happens, right? You know, Sean McVay kind of alluded to this. This could happen when he was asked by a reporter about Cooper Kupp's availability this week. He said, you know, it's a possibility, because somebody asked him, could you put him on IR? He's like, it's a possibility, but we're not there yet. Well, it looks like the Rams are there now, and it seems like that hamstring is significant enough where they're going to need, you know, multiple weeks for him to heal up. And the thing about it is, Jeremy, you just never know with them hamstrings. They just linger throughout the season. I mean, Cooper Kupp had to fly to another state to see a specialist about his hamstring. That should let you know how significant this was. And now you look to the other receivers in this room, because Cooper Kupp, like you said, what he's meant to this offense and Matt Stafford. In 2021, literally won the Triple Crown. Most receptions, most receiving yards, most receiving touchdowns. That's what you're losing when you don't have Cooper Kupp on the field. The feel that he has with Matt Stafford, we saw it play, you know, so many roles in this offense. We saw it versus Tampa Bay in that divisional playoff game. We saw it in the Super Bowl, right? Him going out there making big plays. Now you look at guys like Van Jefferson, who has had some health issues. Tutu Atwell, who hasn't really done much in his league. Tyler Higbee, a tight end. You're going to have to really focus. He's going to have to be one of the focal points on this offense. So it's going to be extremely hard. Let me say, it's impossible to replace Cooper Kupp. Some of these young guys are going to have to step up.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how Matthew Stafford kind of navigates all of this and how it changes this offense. Because we saw what happened with the Chiefs not having Travis Kelce and how that affected their offense. Almost same type of situation here with the Rams with Cooper Kupp being out. Now that's going to have a significant impact.
Yeah, you would think, Jeremy, that maybe they'll be a little bit more run heavy with Cam Akers. He's looking to have a bounce back year. It was a lot of weirdness going on with him and the Rams brass last year, but they seem like everything is headed in the right direction. I would not be surprised if Sean McVay really features Cam Akers in this offense and running the football. You talked about it. When you're Matt Stafford, you lose your number one weapon on the outside. Not just your number one weapon, your safety blanket. So now you're sitting back there. Who do I trust to get the ball to in critical downs? On third down, Cooper Kupp was always the guy he looked to. Now, will it be Tutu Atwell? Will it be Van Jefferson? I think Tyler Higbee is due for a big game as well, because he does have a trust factor with Matt Stafford.
And you look at this schedule. I mean, look at this gauntlet to start. At the Seahawks versus the 49ers. So you get 2 huge divisional games right out of the gate. Then you have the Bengals on Monday Night Football. The Colts, you'd have to think that might be a coin flip when you look at that game. And then he could possibly be back Week 5 to take on the Eagles.
And when you look at the schedule makers didn't do them any favors.
No.
Now, they didn't know that Cooper Kupp was going to be out the first 4 weeks, and maybe longer. Again, Jeremy, you never know with those hamstrings. They can really linger. So, yeah, they have a gauntlet to start. You talked about the 2 divisional games. The Seahawks and the 49ers made the playoffs, and then 4 of the first 5 weeks, they play another playoff team with the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's going to be a tough start to the season for the LA Rams.
If you're Sean Rams, I mean,
if I'm not mistaken, I do believe they finally have their first-round pick in 2024. I mean, Jarvis Landry is a guy that's still out there who is a slot receiver just like Cooper Kupp. The only thing is, Jeremy, I mean, is he going to be up to date on the nuances of the playbook? Is he going to be able to have that connection with Matt Stafford within that 4-week period before Cooper Kupp potentially comes back? I think they're going to go the way of the youth, right? Tutu Atwell. They're going to look to Van Jefferson to really step his game up. And again, I believe Tyler Higbee will be the new safety blanket for Matt Stafford.
Well, I mean, if you bring those guys in, you got to get them some action, right? And now's a chance. But losing 30% of your offense certainly hurts. Leger Duzable here talking about our breaking news that Cooper Kupp has been placed on IR. According to reports, that will put him out until week 5 versus the Philadelphia Eagles is when he could possibly come back. They're going to be talking about this certainly on the Pick 6 podcast. Will Brinson and the crew probably getting ready to do a little bit of an emergency pod maybe to cover this. Anyways, they're covering all the stories in the NFL on the Pick 6 podcast. Download and follow wherever you get your podcasts or scan that QR code to listen to the latest episode right now. In terms of what's coming up Sunday on CBS, Week 1, it is a good one. Look at that 1 p.m. window. Great games right out of the gate. Bengals and Browns. Is it the Bucks in Minnesota to take on the Vikings? Lamar Jackson's got the new deal. They're taking on the Texans. And then, the late window. Eagles, Patriots is what I'm looking at, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. Check your local listings, games on CBS, and stream on the go via Paramount+.
Good things from Saquon there. Right. Next up, we have the 49ers and the Steelers. The holdout with Nick Bosa and the Niners is over. He got paid, set to practice. The Niners are slightly favored, -2.5. But Emery, you like the Steelers in this spot.
Taking the defense versus Brock Purdy, who is coming off of an injury. We saw him play a little bit in the preseason, but there's some questions along this offensive line. Pittsburgh loves to play the run on the way to the quarterback, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy. This will be a low-scoring game, so I kind of like the under 2. I like the Steelers to get the win.
Yeah, the total's sitting at 41.5 for that one. Next up, we have the Battle of Ohio with the Bengals and the Browns. Joe Cool just got paid. He's also 1-4 against the Browns in his career. We know you like the Browns to get to the postseason, but in this spot, what do you like?
It's hard to move around as a quarterback when your pockets are fat, stuffed with money like that if you're Joe Burrow, and you're coming off of a calf strain. So those things kind of lead me to believe this Browns defense will turn up the pressure and see how healthy that calf is for Joe Burrow. But I like the Browns because they're solid on both sides of the line of scrimmage. They can run the football. I like the passing game versus this Bengals secondary without the Jesse Bates, who is now in Atlanta. Give me the Browns on the money line to take care of business.
All right, then we have the Cardinals and the Commanders. Washington favored by a touchdown. Josh Dobbs expected to start for Arizona after we were wondering who their starting QB is. Sam Howell is the guy for Washington. So, Emery, give us the play here.
Cardinals are one of my favorite birds to watch in my backyard. I feed them every day. There are great people out there in Arizona. A lot of good things. The color scheme for the Cardinals is fantastic, but they're about to get drummed in this ball game by the Washington Commanders. That defensive line is going to feast on Josh Dobbs. Lay these 7 points. I'm surprised it's still at 7 for this game. Lay the points with the Commanders, but also keep an eye on that offense of Washington because we saw what that offense looked like without Eric Bieniemy in Kansas City. Let's see how this Washington offense looks, and they have a great Week 1 matchup for them to showcase that. So I like the Commanders here.
Emery buttering up the Cardinals fans with their mascot and their colors, only to bring them down with the pick. All right, finally, we have the Eagles and the Patriots. Expected to be one of the more physical games in Week 1. We got the league's top rushing offense from last season, and then New England's run defense there. Give us the pick, Emery.
It's going to be physical for Mac Jones. It's going to be a lot of physical discussions out there on the field involving him behind that offensive line versus his Eagles defensive front. I love the Eagles in this spot. Lay the points with them. Very good football team. Got to the Super Bowl last year. Got even better in the offseason, which is rare. So I think they'll do a great job of keeping Mac Jones in that offense under 10 points. Lay these 4.5 or 4 points with the Eagles comfortably as well.
All right, that is our guy, Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook with his Week 1 picks in the NFL. Thanks so much, Emery. We appreciate it. Let's get a quick recap of Emery's picks. He's going with the Ravens, the Cowboys, laying the points with the Steelers, Browns, Commanders, and likes the Eagles plus the points.
Let's go.